Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I have another misunderstood movie review today, and this is a series of movies that I feel have got a bad rap. Have got a bad reputation, and I think are movies that deserve a second chance, deserve to re-find an audience, and should be judged on the merits of the movie alone. And movies that, simply put, I enjoy, that by and large aren't remembered particularly fondly by an audience. And today I have chosen The 13th Warrior, the 1999 movie starring Antonio Banderas and directed by John McTiernan, who at the time was red hot as a director. Directed a lot of good movies, Die Hard, Predator, things like that. So very, very well respected director. And this movie, unfortunately, is more remembered for, as you can see there on the screen, is its massive box office failing. And it had a huge budget and failed miserably at the box office. I believe, personally, I remember when this came out, I didn't see it at the cinema, but I believe this movie failed due to poor marketing, and they tried to sell the audience a film that actually wasn't what they were getting. So that, I think, is why the movie failed, not because of the quality of the movie. And if you've never seen this movie focuses on Antonio Banderas' character, who is an Arab who is disgraced and sent away because essentially falls in love with the wrong woman, and I think she's royalty or something, and he falls in love with her. The romance is found out, and he's booted out. He's sent as an ambassador to like the Viking lands to spread the word of Muslim and all this kind of stuff, and he ends up stopping to get some supplies at this Viking camp, and he gets unwittingly embroiled into a group of Vikings who are sent to a foreign Viking land because there is an unknown threat that is threatening the villagers out there. Villages are being wiped out by this threat that people don't understand. And the ruler of this Viking clan essentially is a king. They go through him, and it's a really good scene actually. They choose which of the 13 warriors who are destined to go and do this task, and they go through, and all the warriors are chosen, and it's a real big honour and stuff. And then some kind of ritual takes place that basically says the 13th warrior has to be someone from left field, basically someone who isn't a warrior. And essentially this is when Antonio Banderas is chosen, and he's horrified at first. He doesn't want to do it because he's essentially a lover, not a fighter. He's like a poet, really. But he has to go with them, and he ends up going along. You see the journey. They have to go on this huge boat trip on these really savage waters on this Viking ship to get where they're going, and they have to travel long distance to get there. And there's a little bit of bonding going on. There's some scenes where he's trying to understand the language and figure it out, which is a bit daft how they do it, but it kind of makes sense in the storytelling purposes. And then they get to this distant land who are being attacked, and the movie continues from there. They have to figure out who's attacking them, or what's attacking them, and deal with it. So that's essentially the story they get here. Now, this was a book written by Michael Crichton, who wrote Jurassic Park and Westworld and things like that. And apparently his book and the movie was adapted from Beowulf, and there's a definite Beowulf feel about this movie. There's no denying it. And I think this is a really fun, excellent movie. They go down the realistic route. They hire a lot of like Nordic actors and European actors from Norway and the Czech Republic and places like that. Some of the faces you will recognise, but they go for authenticity here, and it really works. It's dirty, it's gritty, it's grimy. How they're living is how you would expect them to live in these times. Very honourable heroics going on, and very brutal battle scenes when they happen. And you see the story arc for Antonio Banderas going from this Arab at the beginning who's not a fighter right through to the end, where he basically becomes this badass basically, and it's really cool to see. And he bonds really well with his group by the end, and it's a really great movie, and it plays on the things that I enjoy in movies like this. I call it the Seven Samurai syndrome, movies like this, where You get a bunch of characters, you get to know them a bit, you learn to like them, and then slowly and surely they are taken out, sort of thing. And it's like, you know, Magnificent Seven, Predator, and all that sort of stuff. You get used to the characters and they all go one at a time. There's movies like that for me. It's a really, really good movie, and it deserves to be seen. It's shouldn't just be judged on its box office failings. That was more down to the studio, the bad marketing, rather than the actual end product of the movie. It's a very, very strong movie, this, and I think if you've never seen 13th Warrior, give it a chance. In today's market, where movies like this are more appreciated, you may well find it may surprise you.